Welcome in, friends. Welcome to the Tim and April Show. I am Tim Whitaker.
I am April Ajoy.
Yeah, we got a real doozy today, don't we? I feel like we say this all the time, but maybe we should just say now, trigger warning, very misogynistic, anti-Semitic, race, all the things, friends.
Everything is in this episode. Not
everything.
Us. Not from us.
No. Good
from
call.
our
Good
clips.
Call. Yeah, we should be very clear about that.
We're about to get real misogynistic up in here.
We've had a change of heart. We're moving over to Rumble.
Oh, gosh. Can you imagine?
Well, I mean, let's face it, April, the grift is there, right? Like there is a world that we could grift where it's like we were one of those woke liberal Marxists who were trying to destroy America, and then we became a true Christian, and now we're fighting against it. See us live now,
you
only
make so
on
much
Rumble.
Money if you make that turn.
I know.
That's
what kills me. All these people, especially in the beginning of that deconstruction thing we all went through right online, all these people were like, oh, you're just deconstructing because you want more money because it's easy and comfortable. And I'm like, I am broke. I am broke as hell starting a nonprofit on the internet begging people for $5 a month donations. Trust me, if I wanted to grift, I would go into megachurch world or go over to Rumble. I would do the Russell Brand thing. Right? Russell Brand started real left, real, take down the system. And now he's touring the world with Sean Foyt and Tucker Carlson.
Right. Because I do think there's so few people that move from like actually left to the right that when it happens, they just elevate. It's the same thing with like ex-gay, ex-trans, which you're not actually ex those things. You're just suppressing yourself. Yeah. But they elevate those people like for example, I used to work for CBN, right? The 700 Club, not to go on a little tangent because we do have a lot to get into. But they had this story of ex-transgender person. He was going by Jeffrey. She was going by Jeffrey at the time. And they totally elevated him. And she, who was he at the time, it's confusing. But regardless, they had this ex-trans person that was running this whole ministry, and they made this whole segment on the 700 Club. It was like from transgender to transformed, and like this was the main person that they would talk about for years. And then she went back and is now living as a trans woman again, and is just said, I can't keep up the lie anymore. There was never any retraction from CBN. As the last I checked, that episode, like their story was still out there. But like, if you're a Christian in those circles and you only see quote unquote testimonies of people claiming to be ex-queer, you think, oh, well, my son just needs to pray the gay away. But it doesn't work. And if you go and watch this Netflix documentary called Pray Away, it shows so many people that ran conversion therapy ministries that claim to be ex-gay, that admit, of course, they were still gay the whole time. They were just heavily suppressing that. And anyway, this is a topic for another show.
The title of this episode and what we're talking about are not the same thing. That's okay. We're allowed. This is the banter section. We're allowed to banter, darn it.
Well, yeah, because they're trying to make, or maybe they did make it already, conversion theory legal again.
Yeah, of course.
They banned it because it was causing so much harm. Anyway, we should do an episode on conversion therapy.
We should. They're committed to dogma and not over to research and science, and this is exactly what happens. I mean, it's just that simple. So, and you're right. They will pick these fringe people who are ex whatever, so-called, and they become the new token ex-gay person that gets paraded around the circuit and gets talked about as the proof that God can break anyone, including your child, free from the addiction or from the sinful lifestyle of the homosexual agenda.
Right. But like on our side, like I know so many people online that are ex-conservative. Us, like, I mean, we also lost our livelihood when we stopped being conservative. And a lot of our friendships too. By the way, can I just say one more random thing? This is so random. I'm sorry. My little guy, our youngest, is getting some cavities filled because we gave him too much candy, and my wife just sent me a picture of him with the little mask on for like the laughing gas, and I'm just looking at it. I'm like, he's so cute. So I just had to say that. So he's adorable. He's currently getting some cavities filled. Okay. Well, I have no segue into this from that. From cavities to the cavity of our nation.
Nice.
Fascism.
Bravo.
You need to fill those cavities and get them out.
Well, we're talking about Nick Fuentes today. I never thought we'd have to devote a whole show to him, but here we are.
And you and I have talked about him for a while. Even when we would talk about him, and a lot of times we'd get comments that were like, "Oh, he's so fringe. Like, don't waste your time." Like, okay, yeah, he's not so fringe.
I don't want to be one of those people that's like, we told you so, or that we're always right. Certainly April and I have our blind spots. But when it comes to Christian nationalism and the trajectory, we've been pretty freaking spot on. We have been pretty freaking spot on. I remember covering Nick Fuentes when Marjorie Taylor Greene spoke at his rally. And I was like, guys, this is the beginning of him becoming mainstream. No, he's fringe. He'll never get picked up mainstream. Then he got dinner with President Trump. And I was like, guys, he's sitting down with a sitting president.
West.
Yeah. And they went, oh, well, he didn't know who he was. I'm like, but his team absolutely did. You're telling me that no one knew who this random guy was that got access to the president, or at the time, the former president at Mar-a-Lago? And now here we are devoting a whole show to this dude because he's growing and growing, especially in the wake of Charlie's death. So really quick, let me give the audience, I'm going to just read from this guy's Wikipedia, just the first few paragraphs so you understand who he is. Then we'll kind of get into what's happening. And just fair warning, friends, it's kind of complicated. This is when you're going to need to put on your nuance hat and your both and hat and see that there's overlap but also differences. So stay with us. But Nick Fuentes, he was born in 1998, so he's 27 years old. This is according to his Wikipedia. He's an American white nationalist political commentator, activist, and live streamer. He hosts America First, a live stream podcast promoting Christian nationalism, white supremacy, misogyny, anti-LGBTQ plus rhetoric, and anti-Semitism, including Holocaust denial. His supporters are known as Groypers. Now, we kind of talked about this when Charlie's assassination first happened, and everything was so unclear, but there was some potential indications early on that the shooter might have been tied to the Groyper movement. This is Nick Fuentes' bubble that he has kind of created. So his supporters are known as Groypers. Fuentes was raised in Illinois. He attended a typical high school, and he held pretty mainstream conservative views. He began political activism in 2016 after graduating and started the America First live stream in 2017. In 2019, his followers began to heckle Charlie Kirk and his organization Turning Point USA and referred to it as the Groyper War. In 2020, seeking to establish a white supremacist conference to rival the Conservative Political Action Conference, Fuentes began holding an annual American First Political Action Conference, AFPAC. This is the conference that Marjorie Taylor Greene spoke at a few years ago. Okay, in November 2022, Fuentes and Kanye West had a private dinner with Donald Trump. The meeting was condemned by some American political commentators due to Fuentes and West's anti-Semitism. In August of 2024, Fuentes launched the Groyper War II against Trump's presidential campaign. Memes, trolling, and protests were used to push for more extreme right-wing positions. Okay, so essentially, Fuentes thinks that people like Charlie Kirk are too moderate. They're too neocon, maybe too in the middle. So they're pushing their goal is to push things farther to the right. And there's a lot of anti-Semitism inside of this, okay? He was also at the Unite the Right rally in 2017, which is where people were chanting, "Jews will not replace us." He spoke at events preceding the January 6th, Capitol attack. So he's been around kind of in the shadow for a long time, but growing. He's been growing a very loyal base, I would say is a fair way of putting it. Usually younger white men who have a lot of resentments towards women, towards Jewish people, pretty much anyone who's not like them, they do not like. And we have some clips that we'll play throughout the show to kind of prove that.
Yeah, and he is young. He's 27. Mm-hmm. If you remember, right after Trump won the 2024 election, he had made a video taunting women and said, "Your body, my choice." He's a Holocaust denier. He really has said truly horrendous things.
Why don't we just play the one about the Holocaust and just this is him, okay? And then we'll get into some of the other stuff and why we're talking about this, because it is important. Alrighty, here we go. Wait, that's not it. That's it. Okay, here we go.
Documentary. I came home. I told my parents, I'm like, "Mom, Dad, the Holocaust didn't happen." And they were like, we did not raise you this way. I remember coming home from college in my second semester. You know, I got home in the spring and I was like, Mom, Dad, Hitler was awesome. Hitler was right. And the Holocaust didn't happen. And my parents were like, we cannot believe what you are saying. We did not raise you like this. I'm like, I can't believe you're not being chill about this. I was like shocked because my parents aren't even that political. I mean, my parents are like vaguely conservative, you know, like boomers are. And I thought they'd be down to fuck about it. I was like, yeah, guys, guess what? You're never going to believe what I discovered. And they were so not cool about it. They were pissed. They were like, we will not tolerate that in our house. I'm like, they got you too. They got to you too. I remember being like, and I fought with them for a long time about that. That's why I tell you don't red pill your parents, because I played that game.
There you go.
I was like, Mom, Dad, you don't think it's a little bit weird that we can't criticize Jews? You can talk about anything else, anybody else, any other event, but you talk about this one, they were not buying it. They did not bite.
So I want to be clear about something here. Notice how he conflates criticizing Jewish people with Holocaust denialism. They're not the same thing at all, right? We have, I mean, I think what shocks me about people like Nick, and by the way, he's laughing, so what he'll say is, well, I was just joking. It's just a joke. But what's funny about that? Like, what is funny about the Holocaust? Like, where's the joke to be made talking about how your parents were upset that you said Hitler was awesome? Which, by the way, we have leaked text messages from other people in the GOP saying the same thing, but I digress. It's really important to recognize that the amount of evidence we have about the Holocaust and World War II and the crimes against humanity that the Nazis committed is overwhelming. We have video footage. We have their own writings. There's a 52-hour-long audiobook that is a detailed, with receipts, play-by-play of how Hitler rose to power, what happened during the Nazi regime, etc. Not only, by the way, Jewish people, millions of people, period, died in World War II. And that's not to say, I don't think anyone would ever say that we always did, that the U.S. always acted, purely in any war. That's never going to happen. We all understand that, right? Okay. But to make it seem like, well, I think maybe, the Jews maybe are kind of responsible for some of this, or, hey, why can't we critique the Jews? Maybe the Holocaust didn't really happen. That's just, it's anti-intellectualism. Like, it really is. I don't know. I mean, to give you an example, I went to a very small Christian private school, tiny and conservative. And in my English homeroom, we watched a video of firsthand footage of Jewish people being lined up naked. And this was in black and white. My teacher had to get permission from our parents so we can see the video of them being stripped down naked and thrown into chambers and burned to death. And then the charred bodies came out on the other side. This wasn't doctored footage. It wasn't AI. It was real. And it's just really interesting that we're now talking about this man who espouses these views because he's getting more and more popular in the MAGA right. It's really unbelievable.
Well, and I think most people, and I was raised very conservative as well, and we were very anti-Hitler, as you do. Like, it is so wild to me to see this shift from Nazis are clearly bad. That was like a universal agreeing thing we could all come together and unite on, except for Nazis, obviously. And then now this guy, which when we've talked about him before, people are like, oh, he's French. That's not really mainstream. But the reason why we're talking about him today is because Tucker Carlson, a couple weeks ago, interviewed Nick on his show. And it's actually caused quite a bit of a riff within right-wing spaces, because there's a lot of people that are condemning Tucker for platforming someone like Nick Fuentes, because I would agree. Like, one thing my dad used to say that I've stuck with me is like, a skunk can get in a fight with a possum, right? And even if the possum wins, he still comes out smelling like a skunk. And so just basically there are certain people that it's not worth platforming. It's not worth getting into the weeds with, because like, I don't think you should ever debate a Nazi, because we should just treat those views as stupid, as problematic, as terrible. There's nothing to debate. There's nothing to debate the humanity of Jewish people. There's nothing to debate when we're talking about the humanity of queer people, of women, of like just when we're talking about basic human rights and whether or not people deserve basic human rights and not to be slaughtered for who they are. That's not a debate. That's not someone who's like, well, let's just hear what he has to say. No.
Right. And Tucker is very intentional with how he softballs certain people on his show and how he doesn't. Mm-hmm. Right? If Tucker was going to have on Nick and was going to challenge him on a lot of the bullshit that he espouses, okay, yeah, like expose him for the fraud that he is. But that's not what's going on with Tucker. Tucker plays this game of like, I'm just asking questions, like I'm just curious, but he won't push back on anything, right? Unless he wants to. Like we have the clip of Ted Cruz that we'll play a little bit later on of him challenging Ted Cruz hard on his loyalty to Israel, right? Which, by the way, rightfully so. But when Nick says things that are abhorrent, Tucker's like, oh, we'll just circle back to it. Side note, they don't circle back to it. Or he'll just play softball like, oh, I didn't know that. That's really informative. Yeah, I just want to get your view. So this, when we say platforming, it's not like you can't talk to people like this. You can do whatever you want. But if you're going to softball them, you're essentially giving them a platform to get new people to think about the views that they hold. And again, guys, World War II is not even 100 years behind us.
Right.
We're not even 100 years post one of the biggest mass atrocities in human history. And the rhetoric and the propaganda that started it is rearing its head in the United States. Mm-hmm. Wow.
I know.
Jesus. It's wild. So do you want to, where do you want to go? Do you want to play a few of these clips from the interview? Like, how do you want to navigate this, April?
Yeah. Let's just play a couple of the clips, just so you can see, and then we'll do the comparison to the Ted Cruz clip once we. And you want to just do that now since you brought it up?
Ted Cruz? Yeah, we can do that one first.
Yeah. Well, let's show the clip with Nick and Tucker first on Stalin.
Okay.
And then we'll sidebar that with.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Ted Cruz.
Yeah. Cool. Let me pull that up here. All right. So this is Nick Fuentes on Tucker Carlson's show. By the way, Tucker Carlson's show is one of the biggest shows in America anywhere. So this platform is humongous. And here's Nick talking to Tucker.
So it was like late December. It's actually funny. It was December 18th. I remember because that's an important date to me. And it's Joseph Stalin's birthday.
Oh.
I'm a fan.
You're a fan of Stalin's?
Mm-hmm. Always an admirer. But we don't need to go into that, I guess.
Well, that's okay. Let's get back. We'll circle back to that.
It was weird because the reason I mentioned that, it was almost like because I woke up that day and I was like, oh, it's December 18th. And I was just like very acutely aware of like, today's like a strange day. This is the day that the attempt happened.
So just so people understand, Joseph Stalin is one of the worst people, again, in modern human history, responsible for things like the Gulag system. He's killed millions of his own people. He, at one point, tried to work with Hitler. Then they had a huge rift because Hitler backstabbed him. Like, this is not, like, what... I guess if I was talking to Nick, right, because I'm always curious, I would ask him, like, tell me what about Stalin makes you an admirer? Like, do you think that we should be killing our own citizens? Do you think that we should put certain types of people in concentration camps? Do you think that we should, invoke mass starvation? By the way, Stalin was a communist. So do you want communism? Help me understand what makes you look at Stalin and go, that's a guy that I look up to. Is it the Great Purge, where Stalin initiated this purge aiming to rid the Communist Party of some of his biggest detractors and rivals? Hundreds of thousands of people were arrested by Stalin's, secret police. Many were executed. Is that what you want, Nick? Like, do you want our United States government to go through and find people that disagree and throw them into the prison system and then kill them? Help me understand what it is about Joseph Stalin that you find admirable. And notice how Tucker goes, we'll come back to that. And they never did, by the way. So here's a massive moment where Tucker could really push him, and he just lets him skate by as, oh, yeah, no, it's all good. Yeah. That's funny. LOL. What is funny about that?
Now let's compare that to his interview with Ted Cruz.
Yes.
This is a weird episode for us because we're going to be talking about a lot of people that we vehemently disagree with on most things, but we're going to find ourselves agreeing with some of them on certain things, but for different reasons.
Yep.
And why they're saying it.
So you had that clip of Stalin and Tucker with Nick. Here is Tucker talking to Ted Cruz. Listen to this.
Growing up in Sunday school, I was taught from the Bible, those who bless Israel will be blessed, and those who curse Israel will be cursed. And from my perspective, I want to be on the blessing side of things.
Those who bless the government of Israel?
Those who bless Israel is what it says. It doesn't say the government of it, it says the nation of Israel. So that's in the Bible. As a Christian, I believe that.
Where is that?
I can find it to you. I don't have the scripture off the tip of my...
But, so you're quoting a Bible phrase. You don't have context for it and you don't know where in the Bible it is, but that's like your theology? I'm confused. We are commanded as Christians to support the government of Israel?
We are commanded to support Israel.
Is the nation
They are the
God's
descendants of
referring
Abraham.
to in Genesis, is that the same as the country run by Benjamin Netanyahu right now?
Yes.
It is.
Okay. Wow. No, it's not.
Yeah.
I mean,
So, like,
Tucker's
here's an
right.
example. Right. Here's an example. Like, I agree with Tucker Carlson
Right.
on this. And, we've condemned Christian Zionism many times because that has led to a lot of innocent people dying because of this blind loyalty to support Israel no matter what, because of what the Bible says, which is also taken out of context. And, like, literally, they just turn a blind eye to everything Israel does because of what the Bible says. So there we agree with Tucker, but we agree with Tucker. Like, Tucker's reasonings for getting there are actually anti-Semitic, not because he's pro-Gaza or wanting to save innocent people.
Yeah, and again, we're trying to highlight how Tucker can push his guests if he wants to, right? Tucker can challenge people if he wants to. He just didn't want to challenge Nick on a comment that he looks up to Stalin and that he admires Stalin. I need the audience to really understand how far we've come in less than a decade since Trump came into the political spotlight. Okay? Right. I remember when the Proud Boys was like, oh, the Proud Boys, they're an extremist group. Like, no one would work with them. And now it's no big deal. Now they're just kind of in the air that we breathe where, yeah, this dude from the Proud Boys, he was pardoned by Trump. Now he's doing these rallies. Nick Fuentes is another one where it's like, wow, this guy is denying the Holocaust. That's crazy because that's like fringe stuff. And now we're having a whole damn episode about it because Tucker Carlson platformed this dude and softballed him all the way and didn't challenge any of it. Of course he does.
Tucker knew exactly who Nick Fuentes was because there's plenty of articles out there where we're exposing the insane, crazy, like out there, horrible things that Nick Fuentes has said. Also, like he also did the same thing when he interviewed Vladimir Putin.
Yes.
And when he interviewed Andrew Tate, just little softballs. Like he does softballs to actually terrible people. Which, I mean, Ted Cruz isn't, I don't think is a great person.
Yeah, to be clear. Right. I would say Ted Cruz is great, but, I also would not say that he's Andrew Tate, right? I mean, as far as we know, there's nothing on video of him assaulting a woman in a bedroom, unlike Andrew Tate, right? Like, there's no sex trafficking charges that Ted Cruz has faced, unlike Andrew Tate. So,
he's just,
yes.
It's fled Texas in the middle of ice crises. Different kind of ice, like actual frozen ice.
Do you want to? I mean, they actually talk about Andrew Tate a little bit, and this kind of shows, I think, some of Nick's more misogynistic views. Should we get into that?
Yeah. Oof.
Again, friends, just trigger warning. This is wild stuff. About 2.5 minute clip.
Andrew Tate's a Muslim polygamist who is very chauvinistic, and you could even argue it as someone who has ran an OnlyFans site himself, like is not an observer, let's say, of Christian sexual morality.
No.
But men are going with him because he's putting women in their place. He's talking about patriarchy and women's place in a society like that. Whereas Christian men, Catholics, Protestants alike, are both kind of tone policing the men. And they worship their wives. They worship the women, put them on a pedestal. And they, they kind of get bossed around. They get henpecked by the women.
I think we're required to love our wives. Like that's, all over the New Testament. Husbands, love your wives. Wives, respect your husbands. That seems like a very natural balance to me.
Yeah, and I think that you have to love your wife as your wife.
Yeah.
A lot of men.
As opposed to what? Your mom?
Well, no, like your buddy.
No.
Because I hear this all the time, and I hate this. guys will say, I married my best friend. And I think, you know, she's your wife. She's not your best friend, because there's a difference.
What is the difference?
I think that when you talk about your best friend, you're a peer, you're an equal. And I think your best friendships are with other men.
Okay, I gotta pause here. There's something I haven't told the audience yet. This bro is a 27-year-old single virgin lecturing people about what a marriage looks like.
Oh my God. I also, I wish I
Nick,
would have thought about it beforehand, but there's a clip of him that went viral a few years ago, and I actually responded to it. But he was saying that it made him gay. He was basically saying, is it gay to date women? He's like, dating women is gay. He has said that.
This dude can fuck all the way off. Like, I'm not sure how else to say it. Like, just fuck off, dude. You don't know what you're talking about. And by the way, I want to be clear. Relationships, marriages can look different dynamics. Your marriage looks different than mine. That is not the point, right? There are definitely dynamics where some people are like, look, I don't want to be in charge of stuff. You be in charge of it. But the difference is that it's consensual and that it's not mandatory and that it's worked out between two people who both want the same thing. Nick's idea is that women are not equal to men, especially in a marriage. They are underneath the man, and the man is the top dog. That doesn't really work usually for most people. Again, I mean, unless both parties want it, that can be a thing. But this idea that Nick is giving marriage advice from someone who's never even I think even dated a woman is just kind of funny to me. I mean, it's
women is gay.
It's gay, dude.
I know.
Okay, Nick.
You look that up. There's definitely a clip out there of him saying that. It's always it's so funny to me that the little men who have the most to say about women and marriage and what the right way is to do are single. Like it's like they're talking about the male loneliness epidemic and blaming it on women.
Yeah.
Like, no, it's because y'all are just assholes. No one wants to be around you. Woman wants to just a volunteer? Like, even the whole thing, like, oh no, you can't. Your wife can't be your best friend. That is just saying he views his wife as an object, as basically just a sex object. And you and I have been married a while, not together, with different people.
Right. To be clear.
Clarify. Marriage is so much more than sex.
Oh my God.
Sex is such a small piece. It's important, but it's such a small piece of your life. It is important, I think, to marry your best friend. Beecher was my friend before we ever started dating, because that is what to me, it makes our marriage work, is that we are best friends and that we talk about everything and that we're equal and we're co-partners. And sex is a great part of that. That is this lovely cherry on top, but it takes so much more than just sex.
Yeah, I've been married. We're going to hit 10 years in July. And yeah, I mean, it takes work, communication. It takes a sense of, I mean, Sarah is my best friend. It's not even a question. She knows me better than anyone. We spend the most time together. We built a beautiful life that we absolutely love. We have a great marriage. Most of our time is not spent in the bedroom, right? But our sex life is great. Because we're best friends, because we communicate. We've communicated all through our marriage about everything. And it was always a combination of, what do we do together? How should this work? Now, of course, are there times where there is friction? Of course. But we talk through it, right? And look, we can reverse this. If I was single and I dated a woman and she was like, I think that you're not equal to me and I have to lord over you, I'd be like, yeah, I'm out. I'm not really interested. So I'm just saying, it's pretty obvious when you flip the script, men, that would you want someone telling you that? I'm sorry, you're not equal to me. I'm actually above you. You have to follow my lead and just kind of submit to me. I mean, again, no thanks. I'm good. So you wonder why we have this men like Nick who are who they are. And when you say things like this, or you say things like the Holocaust didn't really happen, or you say things like my body or your body, my choice, you wonder why women don't like you. Dude, it's not that, for someone who claims to be a big brain thinker, it's not that freaking complicated.
It's
you're just kind of a dick. It's not complicated. Maybe
obvious.
These dynamics don't really work. Maybe telling women that you're subordinate to me, you're underneath my thumb, I'm in charge of you. And can I tell you something that I haven't told anyone before? This is a secret. I know.
Okay, well, this is about to a lot of
here's all I'm gonna say.
Okay.
I know people in my life who I've met in church world and stuff who would not be this extreme as Nick, but would have this view of like, well, look, I submit to my husband's in charge. But I watch their marriages. They live out a very egalitarian marriage. Meaning they might say that, but you watch it and you're like, actually, you guys are pretty much co-parenting, you're co-leading, right. Like you're really working together. It's not as subordinate as you make it sound like it is.
That is so true. Have you never heard that phrase? Like so many like complementarian pastors I've heard make this joke. Like, yes, the husband is the head, but the wife is the neck that turns the head.
Right.
Like I've heard that joke so many times.
Right.
Like they everyone even admits like it's not actually. I mean, there are some extreme cases, right?
Sure.
That are that end up, venturing into abuse.
Oh, for sure.
Have that
yes.
when you're promoting that and people take it as face value, which at face value that does definitely lead to abuse.
Definitely.
But the point is, most of the people that are preaching that, as you say, aren't actually following what they're saying.
Right. Because most people don't want to be under the thumb of someone else. Doesn't matter who they are, what their gender is. Right.
And I think most men don't want a doormat.
Right. They want to be, look, if we believe as Christians that all humans are made in the image of God and are worthy of dignity and respect, that includes your partner, right? So why would I not want to treat my partner with dignity and respect? Why would I not want to do that? This idea that Nick is promoting, it's like rhetoric. It doesn't actually work in real life because when that happens, usually abuse happens. And we have tons of those stories that we've talked to, interviewed. T. Levings, maybe the most famous example of this. He wrote a book, A Well-Trained Life. Like this world of the patriarchy and women are subordinate. If you live it out, it tends not to work, especially for women. Mm-hmm. So anyway. Little tangent there. I mean, we can stop this clip here. He keeps going, but what else is there to listen to? Why belabor the point?
Stupid misogyny.
Yeah, but we want to give people a taste of like what this guy's advocating for on camera. And again, this is like his polished version. This is his biggest audience. There's some other clips floating around that we intentionally did not play of him saying, well, you can Google it yourself and find out if you're that curious. But okay, let's move over a little bit here to kind of the controversy that has I think happened in the right-wing media world and really the right-wing space. Before we do that, friends, if you're watching this video, thank you so much. Please make sure to give this video a like, subscribe to our channel. The Tim and April Show is produced by the New Evangelicals. It's an organization that I founded in 2020, now led by the wonderful Melinda Hale. We have tons of free resources and offerings. If you're looking for a better path forward in your faith, I recommend joining TNE Connect. It's our free community space, totally off of all social media and meta platforms. It's a private community. It's totally free to join. We do free trainings. We have a book club going right now. We do all kinds of fun stuff. Plus, there's a whole social media feed inside the app where you can talk to other people and meet like-minded folks. So make sure to check it out. Okay, how do you want to tee this up? I'm trying to think of the best way. Why don't we do this really quick? The Mark Levin clip, I think, is worth playing. That could be a good segue into this. Okay.
Yeah, I was going to say too. Okay. They also talk about Christian Zionism too. I don't know if
yes. Let's play these two clips. Then okay, yeah, makes sense. All right. We're producing on the fly here. Okay. So this is Nick talking about kind of what radicalized him into the great replacement theory.
I don't know if I've ever even said this on an interview before. I was listening to Mark Levin's show. This goes to show how normie I was.
Actually?
I listen to him every day.
You listen to Mark Levin every day?
In high school, yes.
Wow.
I was a fan. I loved his show. And I actually liked how he was kind of obnoxious and mean to his callers.
Yeah.
Vicious. And I liked that. I thought that was funny. But I'll never forget one show. He goes live and he says, America's becoming a majority non-white country. Does anybody think that's a good idea? And I was thinking to myself, yeah, that actually doesn't sound so good. I didn't really even think that America's becoming majority minority like that.
Wait, so you were radicalized on race by Mark Levin?
Yes.
Are you making that up? Or that's
a real story.
Sort of want to have Fuentes on. Everyone's gonna be like, but you're a Nazi just like Fuentes. Okay. But then I'm like, I don't think Fuentes is going away. Ben Shapiro tried to like strangle him in the crib in college. And now he's bigger than ever. So it probably would just be worth hearing what Nick Fuentes thinks. I just want to be transparent about my motives here.
Yeah.
So those are my motives.
Where was the motive in that? Just want to hear what he has to say.
Yeah,
like he literally admits right there that people warned him. People are going to call you a Nazi if you have a Nazi on, like Nick Fuentes. He is fully aware of who he is interviewing. He's fully aware of what Nazi opinions are, and he's like, just want to hear what he has to say because he's bigger than ever. This is all just a power play for views, in my opinion. Tucker's trying to stay relevant.
I also want to know what the issue is with a non-white majority country.
Yeah.
Like, I would love to unpack that with him. He would probably go into race essentialism. That's the belief that races are inherently and biologically different, and you know, some are better than others, which again is pseudoscience, has been debunked 1,000 different ways. But then they'll start pointing to crime rates and statistics, and honestly, we can go through all of that because it's just such hogwash for so many freaking reasons. But I mean, again, like he says the quiet part out loud, and I how many times, April, have I told you, maybe offline, that talk radio was version 1.0, and people who listened to that and took it seriously are walking down the road that it leads to. Nick just said it. Mark Levin, the talk radio host on AM radio, radicalized me towards race essentialism or towards thinking that we have a major issue in America because we're on track to be a non-white majority country. Why is that a problem? Why?
Well,
it's only a problem if you think that some people are better than others as race goes. It's only a problem if you think that black people are inherently more lazy and more violent than white people. That's the only reason that becomes a problem.
I think they're also almost admitting something that maybe they wouldn't want to admit, but by saying, by basically not wanting white people to become the minority, they're almost admitting that, are minorities treated differently?
Right.
Like, are you admitting that maybe it's not fun to be the minority in this country because of systemic racism?
Right. Yes.
You know?
Are you admitting that maybe black people actually are over incarcerated and that they're policed differently than you, and you don't want to be policed like that? You know, it's interesting when they talk about power and, you know, subordination and you know, the patriarchy. It always benefits them. There are always going to be people that are going to say things that benefit them at the expense of others. They're never going to be under the Buddha patriarchy. They're never going to be a minority in the country because they know what it's like to be treated that way.
Right.
Yeah.
I used to listen to Mark Levin. I listened to Rush Limbaugh. I listened to all the right-wing talk radio. I mean, I was very, 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 very conservative.
Yeah.
But I think Nick Fuentes being radicalized by Mark Levin, I think, is a perfect example of how when you play out a lot of these even more mainstream conservative ideas, it leads to fascism. It leads to Nick Fuentes. If you play that out, I've heard that term too. Well, you know, we got to do something or white people are going to be the minority. I heard that growing up a lot.
Same.
And I was like, oh yeah, we don't want to be the minority. I didn't think anything about like why that was problematic. Like it didn't, it just never clicked for me.
Where does it come from? Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Right. Like I was young and, you know, ignorant, but I think that just shows when we call out the harm of a lot of this Christian nationalist ideology, a lot of this right-wing ideology. Yeah, when you have someone that's maybe more moderate on it, that isn't taking it to the extreme, just like we were talking about with complementarianism, it's not so bad because they're not actually following through what they believe on, like the things that they're saying. But Nick Fuentes is taking those beliefs to its end goal. Like that's where this leads to.
Yeah. I mean, Charlie Kirk, I know that they had a lot of beef, but Charlie Kirk also espoused the Great Replacement. I mean, I have clips of him at America Fest saying the Great Replacement is real and that they are shipping in a bunch of third worlders to change the voting populace. That comes out of the playbook of the KKK. David Duke, the Grand Wizard, in the 80s when he was running for government office, said that. That's the thing is like people don't realize that these ideas come from somewhere. And when you trace back the Great Replacement, it comes down to white supremacist groups trying to say that the Jews and even the Catholics at times, right? And other, black people, etc., are all a threat to America because America is a predominantly white European Christian nation, right? That's the myth that a lot of us, are told or believe, etc. It comes from somewhere. So it's not like Nick is just saying things out of the blue that like isn't tied to anything. No, it's tied to a tradition that wants to promote and elevate whiteness at the expense of their neighbors. They love the status quo because who benefits? Who benefits right now from the status quo? Nick does. Tucker Carlson does. Donald Trump does. That's who benefits. So you want to maintain the status quo as much as possible because they're on top. They will never be supportive of these systems if they're underneath of it. Don't forget, I mean, one example, just to show people how little they will tolerate if they're even seen as people who have been slighted, the January 6th insurrection. Trump lied about the election results being rigged. He lied. It wasn't even a true thing. It wasn't even like the election was stolen and they revolted. They believed a lie, and thousands of them with Trump flags, including Nick, who spoke at some of these events before that. They showed up and they stormed the Capitol building trying to overturn the certification of our elections.
Yeah.
First time in our history, we did not have a peaceful transfer of power. That's how snowflake these people are. They can't even stomach the thought that they've been slighted based on a lie. But they want minorities and black people and Jews and whoever else just to take it as it is because this is the created order where we just happen to be on top and you happen to be on the bottom. Stop complaining about your place in life. You're whining too much. Just work harder, yada, yada, yada. It's unreal to watch.
Yeah, and Mark Levin actually condemned Nick Fuentes too in a tweet. But they yeah, well, ish.
I have it.
It's
I pulled
interesting
it.
though. There are a lot of people that are condemning Tucker having Nick Fuentes on, but a lot of them are using Nick's beef with Charlie Kirk as a reason, like Mark Levin. He says Fuentes spent years trashing Charlie, and then his wife Erica doesn't stop Carlson from platforming him and kissing his butt. So where I would take more issue with the anti-Semitism and the white supremacy, but sure, because he talked about Charlie Kirk is the main reason.
That's the thing is like people are upset not because of his comments, like you said, it's because of Charlie Kirk. Like wow, it's just so telling. It's so telling what gets these folks upset. Maybe this is a good time. I have a surprise video for you.
Oh.
It's a surprise. Because I really want to hammer home just how far we have come in this country. This is a clip that The Daily Show put together. And it's back during Obama's presidency. I'm not sure if you're aware, there was a huge scandal during Obama's presidency that Fox News and right-wing people picked up and really hammered home. They were up in arms over it. I'm going to play you the video, and then I will get your initial thoughts. Are you ready?
Okay, yeah.
This is real, by the way. This is not AI. This really happened. Keep that in mind.
Okay. I've met Brett Baer.
And the latest presidential video project, well, it's getting a lot of attention, but perhaps not in the way the White House intended.
The president joking around with a selfie stick. Selfie stick. Selfie stick. Selfie stick.
President Obama appeared with a selfie stick. Critics called it undignified.
A lot of conservatives especially said this is not presidential, this is beneath the presidency. Why is he doing this? He's demeaning the office.
Quote, a foolproof way to make yourself look like a self-absorbed ass clown.
You know, it's said that Ronald Reagan wouldn't even take his jacket off in the Oval Office, but now we have a commander-in-chief that's doing jump shots and actually, a stick selfie. I mean, it's ridiculous.
Tonight's question of the day. What do you think of that selfie?
Yeah, that's your president. He's got a selfie stick.
One conservative tweeted, quote, remember when the office of the president had dignity? And another wrote, quote, this definitely is a new low for our juvenile president.
Here's the leader of the free world, the guy we trust with the button for the nukes, acting like a 12-year-old.
It is ridiculous. It is beneath the President of the United States, but I think he thinks he can do no wrong.
It is not only not befitting, but imagine what Reagan would have done in this situation.
You saw that he employed a selfie stick in the White House. That's befitting the office? I just don't have words for that clip.
Are we seeing a changing of the guard? Is the office not going to be as dignified as it used to be?
Oh my
That's
God.
a real thing. That's a picture of Reagan. Yeah.
I was just thinking,
That's
remember
real.
Trump's Gatsby party where he had like half naked women in a
Yeah.
martini glass and
Yeah.
dancing around the men at the tables, and like, can you just imagine the field day that Fox News would have if Obama threw a party like that? Honestly, if Barack Obama did 1% of the wild, like, undignified stuff that Trump does every single day, if he just did 1% of it, like, they would have impeached him.
I don't know how to make it any clearer to people who think that we're wrong about this stuff. How wild it is that Trump gets away with reposting AI videos of him taking dumps on protesters. Somehow that's not undignified. But
or
according
even
to
just tearing down the East Wing of the White House to put in a ballroom, and all the gold he's put everywhere is so tacky.
It's the frog in boiling water, right? We've been raising the temperature. We're used to this now. And you look back at what they got mad about with Obama using a selfie stick. It is truly comical. It's these people are not serious people. They are not interested in truth.
They said similar things. They lost their minds when Obama wore a tan suit.
Yes.
Too.
Or when he ordered Grey Poupon on a burger, or when he wore a bicycle helmet. I mean, these are all real things. Like, the machine was intentionally manufacturing nonsense outrage. And now that we have Trump in the office doing some of the most undignified shit you've ever seen ever, suddenly we're radical leftists, and these people are just good patriots trying to save America. What are we doing? So I say that because compare the selfie stick to now we have Nick Fuentes, right, being interviewed by Tucker Carlson on one of the biggest shows currently in America via social media and podcasts. And Mark Levin's critique isn't that, look how far we've come. It's, well, this guy trashed Charlie, so I don't like him. Now we're having a war inside of the MAGA movement over this thing, and people are taking sides with Tucker, not just platforming, but giving softball questions to Nick, letting him say some of the most batshit wild stuff. Like, I look up to Stalin. You admire Joseph Stalin? You got to be kidding me, right? Like, we have the history books, right? Like, history still matters here? Apparently not for a lot of people in the MAGA movement.
You want to know something that's so weird? And so I went to Fox News Facebook page because I wanted to see what people were saying about Trump's Gatsby party. So I wanted to just read the comments to see how they were defending that. Because I remember what they said about Bill Clinton, which Bill Clinton, not great. Not a fan of Bill Clinton. You know, like, he deserved that criticism. But
for sure,
they were like, character matters, and you need a good family man who stays away from the appearance of evil, which in their minds, the appearance of evil is just being around a scantily clad woman, right? Which there were plenty of those at Trump's party. Anyway, so I did a quick little search. I scrolled on their Facebook page, and I didn't see a single post or mention about this party. And just now, I went to Fox News and searched Gatsby Mar-a-Lago, and so far on the first couple pages, I don't see anything. And then I searched Gatsby Trump. Nothing's popping up either. So did they just not cover it? Like, maybe it's buried somewhere and I can't find it, but I'm literally searching on Fox News, and they're just ignoring that even happened.
Of course. The same thing goes for the Christian Nationalist right. All the people who are like, women shouldn't wear yoga pants in public, women shouldn't show their shoulders, are not going to say a damn thing about that party. You look it up. I challenge people a week after we record this, because we always record a week ahead of time. Look up Megan Basham. Look through her Twitter. See if she talked about the scantily clad woman at the Great Gatsby party from Trump. Look up Alicia Childers. Look up Tim Barnett. Look up any of those right-wing apologist types who are always saying how terrible it is about, sexual purity and how culture is decaying and how it's so wild that women can wear whatever they want, blah, 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 blah. Look up those people and see if any of them. Allie Stuckey. Yep. Look up Matt Walsh. Look up Joshua Hames, our favorite, slavery apologist over there. See if William Wolf, Al Mower, I can go down the freaking list. See if any of them are going to say a damn thing. No, they would not. Why? Right. You always have to ask why. Because it's not about the values they espouse. They don't care about those things. They care about the power and control those values give them when employed by those people. right? So if Trump does something, he's always going to get a pass because he's giving them the power and control that they want.
Yeah.
The value isn't women should wear clothing. The value is we want to control and be in charge of how and when women can wear certain things. So if a woman at the Great Gatsby party can dress like that, it's fine because we like Trump, or maybe it's not our favorite, but we can tolerate it.
We can just turn a
Right.
blind eye.
But if you wear yoga pants and take a picture of it, oh my God, how dare you? You Jezebel.
You're in your underwear.
Right.
I've told that before.
That's how it works.
Yeah, and I just want to be clear. I think women should dress however they want and do whatever they want to do.
Yes.
And
Yes,
this is no shade at all to the women. This is just pointing out the clear hypocrisy from the same people that told me I had to cover up my shoulders as a teenager, so a man wouldn't lust after me. Like I literally would get in trouble for wearing a spaghetti strap.
Yep.
And now they're
Me too.
Like,
I wore a lot
no.
of those growing up. Spaghetti
you?
straps. Yeah. Okay, let's get into kind of the main hucks here because we're already over time as always.
Right. Did we want to talk about the Christian Zionists? Is that this one?
Yep. So this is where things really split, and this is really, I know we're almost an hour in, but maybe this is like the main point of us even doing this show to begin with. Let's watch this clip of Nick and Tucker talking about Christian Zionism, and then we're gonna get into Ben Shapiro's response to this and kind of help you understand what's going on. Yeah. Okay. Here we go.
And I think that neoconservatism, where does it arise from? It arises from Jewish leftists who were mugged by reality when they saw the surprise attack in the Yom Kippur War.
Yeah, well, that's a lot of it for sure. But then, like, how do you explain Mike Huckabee, Ted Cruz, and there are a lot like that, John Bolton. I mean, I've known them all, George W. Bush, like Karl Rove. I mean, all people I know personally who I've seen like be seized by this brain virus, and they're not Jewish. Most of them are self-described Christians, and then the Christian Zionists who are, well, Christian Zionists. Like, what is that?
Right.
And I could just say for myself, I dislike them more than anybody, because like what? Because it's Christian heresy, and I'm offended by that as a Christian. That's why. So I don't why not? Like, I'm pissed at the neocons, very pissed. I've said that a million times. I've been mad since December of 2003 when I went to Iraq.
No, you're not, you liar.
I went and asked straightforward questions to Ted Cruz because that seemed like he was a sitting senator who's like serving for Israel by his own description. He seemed like a worthy target. I'm not going after MTG, who's like the most sincere why not go after Ted Cruz? I don't understand.
Well, again, with Marjorie, I was a friend of hers.
Okay. God, there's so much to get to. By the way, look up Tucker Carlson on the Iraq War. He was a huge fan of it. So again, he's either just a grifter or an opportunist. I don't know, but this notion that he's always been against the war since 2003, it's just hogwash. I want to explain to the audience really quickly what's going on here because you need to know some background. Number one, I recommend the book A History of Christian Zionism by Donald Lewis. He actually passed away tragically recently. But he will, in his book, he explains quite clearly how the Zionist project was really born out of white Protestant Europeanism. It wasn't born out of Jewish thought at all. In fact, most Jews were really against the thought of them having a homeland again. And this goes way before the 1940s and even the early 20th century. We're talking like back in like the 19th century, this idea starts brewing. So even the idea of Zionism doesn't come from like how Nick kind of cites the Yom Kippur War. It's not coming from there. It goes way before that. And again, it starts from largely Christian evangelicals and white Protestants. Now, Nick is not Protestant. Nick is Catholic. So I understand why he would see Christian Zionism as heresy because, frankly, I agree with him, but also it doesn't come from his waters at all. It comes from our waters, right? April, it comes from us being taught that, those who bless Israel will be blessed and those who curse Israel will be cursed. There's a huge legacy of Christian Zionism in America, and it is absolutely tied to the end times theology that many of them hold, right? They believe that if we don't protect Israel, we can't usher in the end of the world. You can even argue in many different strains that this kind of belief is actually inherently anti-Semitic because a lot of them believe that when God comes back, after we establish the nation state of Israel, most Jews will either die or they'll convert. So no matter what, Judaism is getting erased in their end time scenario. So I want to unpack that briefly and let you know what's going on, because I understand why Nick would look at this and say, this is heresy. This is ridiculous. Also, look at what it's causing, right? Zionism, as it currently stands, is causing the genocide of the Palestinian people. Nick and I would agree on that probably. But the motivation and the ideology behind that is vastly different. Nick would go much more to like the Jewish problem, or why do Jews seem to run everything? He would kind of go down that rabbit hole because, again, he's an admirer of Stalin. I would say that's not at all what I'm talking about. I'm referring to the nation state of Israel, the IDF, and its actions against the Palestinians.
Netanyahu. Right.
And Netanyahu in its colonization project to take over the Gaza Strip and eradicate the Palestinian people. I don't think that all Jews are responsible for that. I think that the nation state of Israel and Netanyahu, in partnership with our government based on our end times theology, is responsible.
Right. And to be clear too, we believe Israel has a right to exist, just like Palestine has a right to exist.
Yeah.
Then there's a very long history of that, which you can also look up.
Nick is also right when he says, why can't we ever critique, Jewish people or Israel in particular? I think that's a fair question, because I was taught, like, I'm not sure about you, April, I was taught we can never question Israel. We can never question what Israel does. We always have to support Israel no matter what. And that's nonsense. Like, again, I would find overlap there. But the Venn diagram overlap comes from two completely different worldviews of how we get there. Ultimately, Nick doesn't, I don't think anyway, based on what he said in the past, I don't think Nick really cares about the people of Gaza. I don't think he cares. I mean, look, they're brown-skinned Middle Eastern people. They are definitely beneath him in his worldview, right? They are not nearly as sophisticated and equal and dignified as someone like Nick would be. So our worldview is totally different for how we get there. And that's important because in the right-wing spaces, a lot of people have been questioning Israel because, look, when you see videos coming out of children being maimed to death, when you see the blatant devastation of the Israeli government in the Gaza Strip, when you see the starvation, you have to start asking yourself what's going on here, because the rhetoric I'm hearing from both the Democrats and Republicans and Netanyahu isn't really jiving with the reality I'm seeing on the ground in Gaza. Right? 50, 60,000 plus people dead, tens of thousands of children gone, 92% of Gaza has been leveled, and we're now seeing Israeli settlers moving in. Right? It's clear that there's been a larger plan behind the scenes to take over the Strip. Yeah, we all collectively as a country should ask the question, what is going on here? But we also don't want to fall into the trap that people like Nick and Candace Owens and Tucker want you to fall into of, well, if the Jews are behind this, what else are the Jews behind? That's when it gets dangerous.
Right, because they are against what Israel is doing for pretty anti-Semitic reasons.
Yes.
Not because they are wanting to save innocent children that are being bombed.
That's right. I mean, they were chanting in Charlottesville, the Jews will not replace us. Okay, well, first off, the Jews are a minority. They're like 2% of the world's population. So it's like statistically impossible to even happen. But also, what are you really saying? You're saying that there's something about Jewish people that you just don't like or that you're suspicious of. And again, we're less than 100 years away from the Holocaust. And when you see some of the same rhetoric popping back up, why do they control the banks? Why do they control this? Which, by the way, a lot of it, when you look into it, is really twisted. It's really twisted stuff. It's not even factually true in a lot of different ways. You go, well, there's got to be something deeper going on behind the scenes here, And again, we can walk and chew gum at the same time, right, April? We can say what Israel is doing is horrific and must be stopped. I mean, it's not even a question. Our government is complicit in funding with our tax dollars the ongoing genocide of the Palestinians, and also Jewish people don't control the world and are worthy of love, dignity, and respect and safety in the country that they live in, wherever it might be.
So this interview aired. It was a long interview. We played just a handful of clips, and it did, rightfully so, get quite a bit of condemnation from people on the right. Ben Shapiro dedicated an entire episode of his show to just taking down Tucker Carlson and Nick Fuentes. And Ben Shapiro is Jewish, and
a huge Zionist. Zionist.
He is a Zionist. And I will say, I disagree with Ben on most things that he says. I will say, though, Ben Shapiro every once in a while does say something that feels very logical and nuanced that I agree with. But I got a little bit of beef with Ben because he's featured me twice.
That's true. He has. Why not me, Ben? I'm right here. You know.
But whatever. In this case, I agree with what Ben is saying.
Yeah.
So.
This has been referencing Tucker Carlson's interview. Honestly, I think it's spot on. So let's listen in.
Tucker Carlson acts as an ideological launderer for other people's evils. Tucker Carlson says many inflammatory things, always buying back just enough of it to appear as though he's not saying what he's clearly saying.
Yep.
He's a master of gaslighting. Tucker Carlson, for example, would never say out loud what Nick Fuentes does. He wouldn't say the things many of his guests say. And so instead, he acts as an ideological launderer. He takes other people's hideous ideas, he softens them, he treats them with love and care, and then he provides them with a massive signal boost. He isn't merely talking to people in good faith, of course. He's promoting certain people and ideas and attacking others. So, for example, he'll ask a series of wildly obsequious questions to Nick Fuentes. He'll even let Nick Fuentes' support for Joseph Stalin slide.
It's actually funny. It was December 18th. I remember because that's an important date to me. And it's Joseph Stalin's birthday.
Oh.
I'm a fan.
You're a fan of Stalin's?
Mm-hmm. Always an admirer.
But he will grill Ted Cruz about the population of Iran.
Oh, yeah, we showed
Tucker
this.
Carlson will have on a Hitler-friendly pseudo-historian to minimize the Holocaust and blame Winston Churchill for World War II. And he will call him America's best and most honest historian.
I thought Churchill was the chief villain of the Second World War. They just threw these people into camps, and millions of people ended up dead there.
Tucker Carlson will have on over and over a pro-Chinese propagandist who used global warming to promote global socialism, all in order to criticize Israel and hug China.
Israel has run American foreign policy in the Middle East for 30 years. If we drop our angst on big bad Russia, big bad China, which is also not going to invade the United States, not going to threaten us, not going to go to war with us. They're not a threat to the United States, honestly, and Iran is not a threat.
Tucker Carlson, of course, brings on pro-Hamas voices episode after episode after episode. The instances are almost limitless. Tucker Carlson will host Andrew Tate, a pornographer and scam artist who mocks rape victims and preaches a cult of narcissism and cruelty. And, of course, Tucker Carlson will glorify him and present him as a maligned truth teller rather than an emblem of moral rot. See, this is how Tucker Carlson's ideological laundering works. You bring your dirty, ugly ideologies to Tucker Carlson's rhetorical car wash. He mixes it with some of the vestigial respect Americans have for him from his Fox News days, and voila, hideous ideas suddenly become mainstream. And then, of course, Tucker denies he said anything controversial at all. He was just asking questions. He was just interviewing people. You don't want him to cancel people, do you? Of course, there is no First Amendment right to a Tucker Carlson sensual massage. But to listen to Tucker, you'd think there was, so long as you despise America, oppose President Trump's foreign policy, and bear a peculiar dislike of Jews. Tucker Carlson, you see, is a coward.
Honestly, overall, I mean, there's a few quibbles I have with some of what he said, but the overall point of how Tucker operates, bullseye.
Yeah.
Absolute
I didn't have agreeing with Ben Shapiro on my 2025 bingo card. But
put it on the list. Me either. I mean, that guy, I mean, he is, I'm not sure who writes his scripts. I'm not sure if he still does it, but that whole monologue was well written too. Like there was it's just a lot of good lines in there. You're like, yeah, rhetorical car wash. I like that line, you know? But no, I mean, it's true. It's true. It's very intentional what Tucker's doing. And he's cleaning up really abhorrent views of people. I mean, again, the Andrew Tate interview. How do you have Andrew Tate on? You let him lie time and time again. You don't challenge him on any of the things that he's really said. You let him just espouse his worldview, and you go, wow, I'm just so curious. He went to Russia and tried to convince people that bread was so much fresher and cheaper there, without telling people that the average wage is much lower than it is in America. Like, it was just so disingenuous.
So I just want to point out, like, yeah, we are agreeing with Ben Shapiro here, but how far are we in hell where we have to applaud someone for condemning a Nazi?
Yes, I agree.
Or condemning someone for platforming like actual fascist, anti-Semitic, misogynistic people. Like, yes, Ben Shapiro's great job condemning that, but also that's like the bare minimum, right? I feel like that's the bare minimum.
Also, I think we need to say that Ben is agreeing with us. We're not agreeing with Ben. He's agreeing with us. You know, because, I mean, again, we've been saying this for a long freaking time. A long time. Obviously, Ben's views on Israel, I think, are abhorrent completely. I know why he has those views, but he is a complete, oh, hey, buddy, I'm recording right now. Can you ask mommy? Okay, go find Nina then. Because I'm in the middle of an episode.
You should leave this in. It's endearing.
I might. Should I leave it? Is it endearing?
I don't know. It's
messing
just
around
reality
with
to
my
show like
curtains.
how not banking we are on this quote unquote growth.
I'm so rich I can't even afford a nanny. Hey, can you go find mommy, please? I'm recording right now. I know, but right now I'm literally don't turn that light off. Please don't do that. Please don't turn the light off. It's really gonna mess me up.
This is like all
here.
those viral moments that happened in COVID when everyone was working from home.
Yep.
And kids kept coming in.
Hey, go find mommy. I'll be right there. I love you. Okay. That's the one who got his little teeth filled with cavities. He's trying all loopy. I love you, buddy.
So sweet.
He's so cute. Anyway, back to anti-Semitism.
Okay, so we wanted to show that there is quite a bit of rift. This interview has caused quite the divide in MAGA and right-wing spaces because, it is nice that some of them actually do have a line, and that line, I guess, apparently is attacking Israel, which is weird in and of itself. But at least they're against Nazis, right? So, or at least they claim to be, despite them supporting Trump, who's being very authoritarian right now. But the Heritage Foundation, which...
All right, hang on one second. I got to pause.
Are you ready?
Mm-hmm.
So this has caused quite the rift, but someone who's come out in defense of this interview and Tucker Carlson is the Heritage Foundation, which, if you remember, is they're the organization that put out Project 2025.
Yep.
That has a lot of this more authoritarianism that we're seeing in this Trump administration. It is the Project 2025 playbook, which is a Christian nationalist playbook, to be clear.
This is the same guy who said that the revolution will be bloodless if the left allows. This is the same dude that we're going to watch now, speaking for the Heritage Foundation, one of the biggest organizations behind even the Reagan administration. I mean, this is maybe the biggest player behind the scenes out there in the conservative movement. Should we just play the clip?
What's this guy's name? Is it Kevin Roberts?
I think so.
I think it's Kevin Roberts. Yeah.
Okay.
All right. So here's the Heritage Foundation. Trump's Project 2025 playbook, which a reminder, Trump now fully acknowledges Project 2025.
Totally.
Now that he's elected.
And he's talking about Tucker Carlson having a Holocaust-denying, misogynistic,
pro-Hitler,
pro-Hitler Stalin guy on the show, and not challenging him, but just letting him go. Here we go.
Yeah.
I'll have more to say on this in the coming days, but today I want to be clear about one thing. Christians can critique the state of Israel without being anti-Semitic.
That's true.
And of course, anti-Semitism should be condemned. My loyalty as a Christian and as an American is to Christ first and to America always.
By the way, I'm sorry, that's a wild statement. As a Christian is to Christ first and America always.
I'm calling BS.
That's a paradox.
Christ said to welcome the freaking immigrant, and what you do the least of these you do to me, and they are not doing that. So miss me with that. You are Christ first.
Not only that, Jesus says, "My kingdom is not of this world." The second you say America always, it's idolatry as a Christian. Sorry, just saying.
Yeah, agreed.
When it serves the interests of the United States to cooperate with Israel and other allies, we should do so with partnerships on security, intelligence, and technology. But when it doesn't, conservatives should feel no obligation to reflexively support any foreign government, no matter how loud the pressure becomes from the globalist class or from their mouthpieces in Washington.
There it is.
The Heritage Foundation didn't become the intellectual backbone of the conservative movement by canceling our own people or policing the consciences of Christians. And we won't start doing that now.
That's not true, because Christians who are queer
cancel
affirming
progressive Christians every day.
Exactly. I mean, you and I are like anathema to these people, right? So, yeah.
We don't take direction from comments on X, though we are grateful for the robust free speech debate. We also don't take direction from members or donors, though we are inherently grateful for their support. And we're adding more every day. This is the robust debate we invite with our colleagues, our movement friends, our members, and the American public.
Notice how the debate is not framed in a way of like a democratic norm. Like, hey, we have to debate with our colleagues across the aisle on how we navigate the American culture. The debate is in the context of, should we have Hitler promoting people on other talk shows that are inside of our circles? Let's debate that. Let's have the robust debate. What is there to debate?
Right. And as we showed in those clips, it was not a debate. Tucker just let Nick talk.
Right. I'm saying like the debate inside the MAGA movement. Like,
No.
let's
I
debate
understand
if
what
we
you're
should
saying,
be. Oh,
but
okay,
I'm also
okay.
just saying like he's framing it as if what Tucker did was a debate.
Right. Yeah.
It is not.
Jeez.
We will always defend truth. We will always defend America. And we will always defend our friends against the slander of bad actors who serve someone else's agenda. That includes Tucker Carlson, who remains, and as I have said before, always will be a close friend of the Heritage Foundation.
I want people to really understand this. For the Heritage Foundation, people who think that queer folks are worthy of dignity and respect and should be allowed to get married are more of an enemy than someone who has on a Holocaust-denying Stalin admirer and doesn't challenge it. That's the friends that are cool and fine. We can disagree there, but we can't disagree on queer affirmation, because if you don't believe what we believe, you are anathema to America, to democracy. You're a globalist, you're a communist, and that's just too far. It's just amazing to see what they tolerate in these spaces and what they don't. It's like, wow. Jesus. Okay, breathe. I can do this.
The venomous coalition attacking him are sowing division.
Wow.
Their attempt to cancel him will fail. Most importantly, the American people expect us to be focusing on our political adversaries on the left, not attacking our friends on the right.
See? That is the quiet part out loud. Our adversaries on the left, not our friends on the right. You know, the people who promote Holocaust deniers.
Yeah, those are friends.
Those are friends. The left. And by the way, who is the left? Who is it? Who in government is the left now? You guys own the Supreme Court. You control the executive branch. You control the House, the Senate. You control all of it. Like, oh, God. Anyway, that's a whole different episode.
Yeah.
I disagree with and even abhor things that Nick Fuentes says. But canceling him is not the answer either. When we disagree with a person's thoughts and opinions, we challenge those ideas in debate. And we have seen success in this approach as we continue to dismantle the vile ideas of the left.
For them,
he's defending a freaking Nazi.
Yep.
And saying the left is who's vile.
And who should be dismantled, right? We should debate these ideas, but on the left, that should just be dismantled. And look at what Trump is doing, right? This is the war on the quote-unquote left. They're going after, and who's the left? It's academia. It's certain judges. It's the news media. This is all telltale signs of fascism, which we covered last week's episode, right? For him, those are the real enemies. The Holocaust deniers, the men who say that rape is fine, that some women want to be raped. That's what Nick said. You can look up the clip. Those are just friends, and we disagree, but we can find room for a robust debate. But you want affordable health care for all Americans? You think that SNAP benefits shouldn't be cut? Oh my God, you're one of our adversaries that must be dismantled.
You want to find a pathway to citizenship for undocumented people?
Right.
Wow.
Anathema.
Wow.
Oh, shocker.
No, we cannot. We got to attack those people. Those people are radical. What, they love everybody? They have empathy? The horror.
They're loving all their neighbors as themselves.
Everyone? My God, these socialists. Like, the way they paint
as my friend Vice
the left, and me and you, like, makes us sound so much more, I don't even know, like, because badass isn't even the word I would say, but they give us way too much power and credit. Like, they make us sound so evil and just like, I'm like, dude, I don't know, like, we're just so not what they say about us.
Well,
like, I don't know.
Listen, call me a radical. I think the world's richest country should be able to provide universal health care for all of its citizens. Out of every developed country in the world, we're the only one that does not do that, and we're the richest. Again, call me a radical.
I think hungry kids should be fed.
Right. Call me a radical. I think that SNAP benefits should still go out. Like, I don't know what is. I maybe one day I'll get someone like this guy on the show. And I just wanted to ask him, tell me what about my views are radical. We should stop bombing children in Gaza.
Right.
How
And
is
not
that
even-
radical?
Right. I mean, and maybe even take the word radical about it, because they call us evil.
Yeah.
Like, they will literally say, like, this is good versus evil. Look at Charlie Kirk's memorial service. Like, they paint everyone
Yep.
on the left as satanic, demonic, and evil.
Yep.
And I just don't see it. Like, I just want everyone to have basic human rights.
Right.
You know, like, we want hungry children to be fed. We want pathway to citizenships for people who are here undocumented, or at a minimum, just treated humanely.
Right.
Right. Because every president has deported people. We've never been anti-ICE when they're just doing like their job. You know what I mean? Like, it's the way that they're doing their job. It's totally inhumane, ripping children from families. In Trump's first term, he separated families at the border, threw children in cages. Like, there's just, how is that evil to just be against that?
How is it evil not to support someone who brags about grabbing women by the genitals? Like, how is that evil? How is it evil to say, hey, this guy lies a lot. I don't think that we can trust him. How is that evil?
Yeah.
How is it evil to say that we only have one planet? We should do whatever we can to take care of it. How is it evil to say that vaccines save lives? How is it evil? I really would like to know. How is it evil for me to say that my queer neighbor, who has no bearing on my life, impacts my life not at all, should be able to live and flourish in this society? How is
and be
that
able to
evil?
present the way that they feel represents themselves.
Like, this is so bare bones. I don't know if we understand just how far. I mean, listen, America was always far right. Always. Even the left wing is like moderate compared to other countries, for sure. Like, it's funny. I was interviewed by a lady from Norway. She was one of the leading, she runs one of the biggest Christian, or she's a journalist for one of the biggest Christian news outlets there. And she flew to Philly and we connected and she interviewed me. And she made a joke of like, yeah, like AOC is like a moderate in Norway for us. Like, this is how far right we already are. Anyway.
Right. Which I think just shows a lack of education in our country, because most people that are using words like communist and socialist and Marxist, they couldn't define those terms. They don't actually know what those are.
Yeah.
Anyway, all right.
Let's keep going.
Oh yeah, that will continue. He's still talking.
Last night,
this dude.
What I am not okay with is any country coming before the interest of American citizens, and it is important for all of us.
Hold on. Okay, let's wrap this thing up. Here we go.
All right.
As my friend Vice President Vance said last night, what I am not okay with is any country coming before the interest of American citizens, and it is important for all of us, assuming we are American citizens, to put the interest of our own country first. That's where our allegiance lies, and that's where it will stay.
This is a Christian. This isn't Christianity. Your allegiance, look, as a Christian, your allegiance is to Christ. The word faith is better translated allegiance. It's about giving your allegiance to a different kind of way of being, a different kind of kingdom.
Yeah.
These men who love to claim to be Christians are actually heretics. They are not followers of Christ. They are followers of empire. They are followers of America first. That is an ideology. That's even a religion. You could argue to a degree.
Right.
It is not the way of Jesus. Jesus was so clear.
The teachings of Jesus are actually the kryptonite to Christian nationalism, because
Yes.
they are in direct conflict and they contradict Christian nationalism.
Direct.
Which is why they get so mad when you read them the teachings of Jesus.
Every time.
Because also, can I also just point out, like, Trump ran on America first. These people always promote America first. Trump is actually not leading his current term America first with the bailout he just gave Argentina.
Yep.
For one, some of these the tariffs actually harm American citizens. It is American citizens and companies that pay those tariffs.
Cutting SNAP benefits to tax-paying citizens? That's not America
Right,
first.
what do you mean?
They are American citizens, right? Aren't our poor and our middle class people who depend on some of these benefits because the oligarchy and the corporate class has stolen so much of their wages and free labor, right? Don't they deserve the benefits that they pay into? They pay taxes.
Right, why not put those bailouts to all the American farmers who are suffering right now? And even like the government shutdown was because Republicans refused to extend the affordability of health insurance for millions of Americans. Like,
exactly right.
What do you? Where's the America first that we were promised? Like, he's not even delivering on that.
That's the thing, is these are all code words. When they say American people, who are they talking about? When they say
talking
American
about rich
citizens,
people.
who are they talking about? Again,
Right.
always ask yourself the question, friends, who benefits? Who benefits? Who benefits from SNAP benefits being cut? Not the people who benefit from them. Are maybe the corporate interests do. You know, there's all kinds of things that you can ask yourself, who benefits these things? And that's where their allegiance lies. It's not even America first. It is ultra rich white Christian men like us first.
Yeah.
Everyone else can get fucked. I mean, honestly, I hate to put it in such crass language, but that's what it is. They don't You're right, April. We are, well, I'm not sure at this point, as of when this recording comes out, if we're still in a government shutdown, but as of today, we're in the longest now, historically longest government shutdown in our nation's history. And what is it over? Democrats don't want cuts to Medicaid, and they want tax subsidies for the government healthcare marketplace to be extended. And Republicans are saying no. And we're so devoted to this cause, we will shut down the government. We will intentionally divert funding away from SNAP benefits with money that was allocated in case of a shutdown. We'll take it up to the courts and have them force our hand because we're so committed to raising healthcare costs on millions of Americans and cutting Medicaid access. Think about that. That's what this is over. It's not over Supreme Court picks or like something that would even benefit them directly. It's over extending healthcare subsidies that help me, selfishly help me, help millions of others. That's what they're fighting over. Wow.
Right.
Wow. Man, that's vile.
Right. And they have the audacity to call the left
evil.
Vile.
Yeah. Evil, vile.
Yeah.
Get out of here. Okay. Well, wow. Another banger of an episode.
Did you want to show Meg Basham's tweet?
Oh, gosh. We could do this all day. So Megan Basham, who's a right-wing Daily Wire journalist, said in defense of what Kevin Roberts just said from the Heritage Foundation, Kevin Roberts made heritage relevant again. You can disagree with the statement here or there, but what a mistake it would be to return heritage to this. How do you say that?
I don't even know what that word is.
Sclerotic? Sclerotic, ineffectual old guard club it was before his ascension. Real ideas, real momentum sparks friction. It's a feature, not a bug. Again, like we now have a right-wing Christian nationalist journalist defending Kevin Roberts' statements, defending Tucker Carlson, having Nick Fuentes, a Holocaust-denying, Stalin-admiring man on his show. That's just where we are. We just have to tell the truth. This is where the right is. This is where the Christian right is in America. We are now at the place where we want to debate ideas like the Holocaust, but we can't debate if people deserve SNAP benefits.
And can we just point out that Meg Basham wrote a whole book where she called out other Christians who she claimed had this left-wing drift. And all she was doing was calling out anyone who didn't support Trump, basically. She's called them all out as these terrible, terrible people. Writes a whole takedown book of people like Gavin Ortlund, like people who are still conservative, right? Like they hate Andy Stanley.
I know.
Like, they're going after people who are conservative, but just don't like Trump. Because as we've pointed out, show after show after show, there is nothing Christian or Christ-like about Donald Trump, and you can use very Christian reasons to not support him. But people like Meg Basham do a whole takedown book if you don't support Donald Trump as a Christian. But here she is defending Heritage Foundation for defending Tucker Carlson for platforming a freaking neo-Nazi.
That's where we are. We are in the upside down, friends. There's just no way around it. We are in the upside down. You wonder how Germany got to where it ended up. You wonder how things happen in human history that are, unfathomable to you. You are watching it in real time. Like this is the path. We're on the same path. History does not repeat itself, but it often rhymes. That's what Jamar Tisby says. And I agree. And we just have to be aware of it. I hate to be the bearer of bad news every single show and bring you guys some of the worst, but this stuff is getting more and more popular. We have to let you know what's going on, because you have to be aware. You have to be. You cannot be ignorant anymore. You cannot bury your head in the sand. There's just no time for it. We are in some very dark days when Holocaust denialism is growing. Vaccine skepticism is growing. It's just, we could be here all day showing you how anti-intellectualism has taken over some of our most influential government institutions, and the results speak for themselves.
Yeah.
So,
but there are people waking up.
Yeah, no, for sure. So, and we love doing this show. We love having you. Yeah, we're still here. We're not going anywhere. This is only the beginning of Trump's regime, and we plan on being here every step of the way. So, wow. Well, friends, listen, like I said earlier, if you want to be part of a community of people who are looking for better ways forward in their faith, I recommend joining TNE Connect. It's the new Evangelicals community space. It's totally off of the Meta and social media algorithms. It's really beautiful. There's about 4,000 people in this space. We do all kinds of free resources. The new Evangelicals is a nonprofit organization, and the reason it's able to produce shows like the Tim and April Show is because of your generosity. So if you want to become a supporter, that would be great. We are trying to raise money for end of year so we can keep 2026 going strong, and your support makes that possible. If you're watching this on YouTube, thank you so much. Make sure to give this video a like, subscribe to the channel. Also, if you have topics you want us to cover, I can't guarantee we'll get to it, but it's always nice to hear from you. What you're seeing, what you're following, what you want us to kind of unpack. So let us know in the comments, and we'll do our best to get to it.
Yeah. All right. Like, subscribe, leave us a review on Apple, all the things. We'll see y'all live every Thursday at noon. So we'll be live again this Thursday.
That's right.
And Lincoln Square. Substack.
And Lincoln Square. That's right. Well, I'm Tim Whitaker.
I'm April Ajoy.
Farewell.
Bye-bye.